Okay, we're moving on to the next session. The next session, I found the title fascinating. I want to read it to you. It's Who's Watching the Watchers? Balancing Privacy and Security. Now, the reason I found it fascinating is because there is a balance between privacy and security. Now, balance means that there's an equilibrium and there's a situation where they're not in balance, meaning one comes at the expense of the other. And that's a brilliant notion. If we understand that there's a function where when we increase privacy, we lower the security and vice versa, that's something we really need to understand and investigate. So to do that, I want to call the best person I can think of on stage, Lauren Smith from the FPF. The FPF is the Future of Privacy Forum. She's the policy counsel there. Lauren, the stage is yours, please.
Thank you, and thank you for having us here for this exciting session. We'll try to keep things interesting as the day wraps up. So we have heard all week here at CYBERWEEK about the incredible universe of technological innovation in Israel. And I have to say, it is a sight to be seen. These new technologies enable fundamental advancements in our society, leading to scientific breakthroughs, such as through precision medicine, reshaping our cities through smart mobility, reducing dependence on foreign oil, and more. But they also transform old industries into data-generating behemoths. Devices like automobiles have gone from being these mechanical chassis to autonomous mobile computers that can generate up to 4 terabytes of data per day. And the enhanced data processing infrastructure now exists to support this and many other technologies. We long ago surpassed the point at which the number of objects in the Internet of Things exceeded the number of people on Earth. These devices enable uses that range from the convenience of being able to turn off your light switch without getting up from the couch, to my own experience last year, where a connected smoke detector and webcam notified me that my house was on fire and allowed me to get the firefighters to my house before I was even home and save my whole block from burning down. As we end, we see a shift happening from an ownership model to a shared use paradigm in many industries, ranging from music to software to cars and bikes. Just like the internet, the reality is that many of these services will become subsidized by the enhanced learning and monetization opportunities that those providing and creating these services can make use of with data. Now, as we try to understand the shifts, the impacts that these shifts will have on society, we have to ask not only how is this data protected from malicious bad actors, as this conference has focused on for most of the day, but also looking at what is done with the data generated, even by authorized actors who make and manage the device or who grant access to others to the data. We so often hear that data is the new oil, and we see new industries evolving to use this data, especially here in Israel. But it's important to keep in mind that this growing data use contributes to a number of growing privacy tensions, not only between privacy and security, and I'll list a few here. For one, personalization can make digital services more useful for users and allow products to reach the right consumers. But the online and cross-device tracking that enables much of this personalization may make consumers fundamentally uncomfortable or be considered creepy. Second, new opportunities from machine learning and artificial intelligence may allow data to reveal more about a person than they anticipate when they initially choose to share that information. And we may be baking bias into algorithms, creating downstream impacts that we have only just begun to understand. And last but not least, where there is data, there's also the opportunity for law enforcement and other government access and widespread surveillance, as one of our speakers will highlight next. Now, privacy is considered to be a right in many countries across the world. And it is a right that is continuously evolving based on changes in technology, changes in expectations, and changes in norms, all the way back from the 1800s with the introduction of the first Kodak camera. One of the biggest challenges that we see in balancing these tensions is that people often express privacy preferences in one manner and then act completely in the opposite. So what winds up being important for evolving norms is avoiding not solely what is considered unlawful at the time, but what society considers to be creepy. So to us, the question winds up being, how do we support these exciting new technologies while simultaneously protecting consumer privacy? This is the question that my organization asks every day, and we think it is crucial to incorporate privacy thinking from the outset of emerging technologies. We think this focus is especially important when innovation is happening quickly in new sectors, which is why we launched the Israeli Tech Policy Institute on Monday to serve as a hub for startup policy leadership and navigate some of these questions at the outset of a technology lifecycle. We think that finding the right balance between privacy risks and big data rewards may very well be one of the biggest public policy challenges of our time. The truth is that data privacy isn't a binary. It's not solely about secrecy. For the past few decades, this tension between data innovation and information privacy has been moderated by a set of principles that we call the Fair Information Practice Principles that focus on individual control, transparency, respect for context, among other principles. There's also a growing universe of privacy tools using practical de-identification technologies to ensure that data used is not unnecessarily revealing of personal information, doing data impact assessments, having ethical review boards for those who manage data, and there's a growing universe of these tools. These principles and tools have been top of mind around the world these past few months, with some increasing concerns about data use, as well as the implementation of the European General Data Protection Regulation, which is one of the biggest changes to data protection and digital privacy in the past 20 years. Now, lucky for us, to help us tackle and understand these balances and trade-offs, we are joined by two of the speakers who are best positioned in the world to explain these tensions and explore the processes we have for enhancing privacy protections.